Okay, how's everybody doing? So I just wanted to give a little weekend update here. Get right back in the saddle again. Thanks for all the responses on Casey, the bearded dragon. He was an old dinosaur. 15 years almost, that's a long time. You sort of take it for granted, and then you realize when the game runs to a close, wow. I mean, even 10 years is a long time, right? One decade. But yeah, so it was a little bit of a bummer, but there's a comfort to it too to know that he had a good life, and I have one less responsibility now, I guess too. But he'll be missed. But so yeah, so as you can see, uh, these trees. If I can just line her up for you there, I've added these 5 trees here. Just talk about them for a second here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I did was I tried the smallest one in the foreground here. And I'll jump off the pedestal here and do a pan around here in a second. So I got them a little bit higher here, one arcing out this way and then kind of tapering down with the cell tower back there. It's a bit tight, but that, compression, like that's the way it is. Like I'd rather have it tight than loose. Like it just gives the whole layout more personality and substance. Like these trees change this whole corner. Like if you go back in some of the other scenes, just have a look. Without the trees there, it's like it's wide open, right? Now it gives the whole scene a little more character and makes it look a little bit larger. Like try to ignore the backdrop. I knew that would haunt me eventually back here, but it was just the way that the layout evolved. I never even thought I was going to take it this far, to be honest with you. I just like when I first started this, it was just a track plan to run a couple locals back and forth like we all do, right? And then I just thought, I'm going to keep pumping on this thing and turn it into something. And this is just what it's become a lot and part and due to the community kind of signing on and wanting to see where it goes and showing interest. So, I mean, the whole layout, when you think about it, is really just an evolution of ideas, right? You know, and most of you, I think by now, or a lot of you have followed along. So it's been a really good exercise in model railroading and certain practices, applied and just, a little bit of everything, right? And I've really benefited from it. I've actually become a better modeler. I really have. I've become a better painter. I've learned more about just everything, like even the backdrop application that you see there, how to solve problems, right? Because that's really what modeling is. Like at least it was in my generation when I was a kid, it was about problem solving. But coupled to a reward system, you know, in the artistic hobby sense, you get rewarded for all the work that you do, you know. Um, anyway, I'll just run the trains out of there for a second and I'll just let you see what it looks like. It's kind of cool now because now I can tuck a locomotive or two down there, and they don't dominate the scene like maybe they would in another part of the layout. Like you can sort of hide a few cars down there, and it just adds a little more depth and illusion that there's more of a railroad, down there, right? Coming off the main. Like I know the clearance isn't probably by prototypical standards, but hey, how many photos can you pull up that show railroads like branch lines and class 2 anyway, railroads like that, right? Where, the right of way is not cleared out like we all assume it to be. So anyway, I'll just run it out of there just to show you, what it looks like. I'll just jump off the pedestal here for a second, just to show you over here a little closer in on the corner, okay? Okay, so now you can see this one little tree here, you know, what it does, right? To the whole scene. Like, it's amazing what one tree will do, right? Like, depending on the angle. You know, if you're from here, you know, because I want to cover a little bit of that road. Like, when it's wide open here, like, you know, it looks pretty good here. Like, see how the road changes? Right? The perspective. It doesn't look too bad here. And then, see how it... See that? So the illusion of how that changes. Like, look at the two lines, the two shoulder lines. Right? And then you come over here, and it doesn't look too bad again, you know, like this. And then if you come over here, it doesn't look too bad either, you know. I kind of like this foreground tree thing, you know, going on here. We'll see how it goes. Like, I know it's tight, but I don't want, you know, I'm trying to cheat that corner line out of there. But, you know, I think I'm going to use a piece of watercolor paper. It's a thick kind of cardboard type paper. I'm just going to try to match the color and just curl it in the back there over the roof or something. That's what I'll do. You know, but anyway, it changes the scene here, right? It adds a little more, it sort of vignettes it more. And, you know, when you got some locomotives, you know, down in here. Okay, I'll just shove these down here and show you. You know what I mean? It makes the layout look bigger down here. So, you know, I kind of like it, to be honest with you. That one little tree on the corner there kind of, I don't know what it does. I don't know what you think, but I mean, I could pull it out of there and change that. It'll change, you know, if I want to photograph from that angle, I can remove it. But, you know, I kind of like it, you know. I'll just do a quick pan down here just for you to see. It's a nice look at the layout from this angle here. But just so you know, like somebody mentioned about, oh, what do you do for the, because someone was building a similar diorama style shadow box like this, to say, what do you do on the ends for the backdrop? And what I recommended is, if you build the backdrop in, like curve it to the front of the fascia, and just put in a, you know, a tight curve will be relative to the thickness of the material, but it's probably worth doing that. And then you cut an opening and slide a building, and it'll look a lot better. And then also too, remember how I mentioned about the bridge here, about angling, you know, a bridge, like try to get away from this right angle, you know, angle. I think like that's what I would do to this to change this, because I think it'll, you know, it'll just make it feel more cozy and, you know, a little more complete in that sense. Even though it's still a lot of fun to operate as it is, but I want to try to deal with that anyway, because I don't want to let this layout go yet. Like, I want to, you know, bring it to a real sense of closure, and I'm really close now, you know. I really am. And then, you know, of course, I've got some plans for doing some barbed wire, like the way it is out here, a lot of it out in Langley and in the rural kind of, because that's the idea, is I want to suggest, you know, sort of rural, more wild kind of corner down here on the right, as opposed to, you know, maybe a little more urban down this way. That was the idea, right? And overall, it's been a really good training tool, you know, if I can use that, right? Because we're all learning, right? Nobody really masters anything. I mean, how could you? How could we possibly master creation and how it looks? I mean, you know. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Just wanted to give you that little update. You know, especially for those that have just signed on. Thank you to all my new subscribers, and I hope that you have a great day.